Welcome to the You Empowered podcast with your host, Justine Jetty. If you want to unlock your potential and step into the most authentic, healthiest, and happiest version of you, then you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into practical, evidence-based strategies for your habits, mindset, and health so you can create a life and a body you love. Let's get into it. Hey, and welcome back. I've been a personal trainer, nutritionist, and mindset coach for over 11 years now. And in that time, I've coached hundreds of women and seen it all when it comes to nutrition and food habits. So let me start by saying that if you feel stuck, like you're losing and regaining the same weight, or even just stuck trying to lose the first amount of weight to begin with, I just want you to know it's not because something is wrong with you, your body, or your metabolism. It's because there are certain gaps in your understanding and approach that are keeping you stuck starting over again. In today's episode, I'm going to try to bridge the three main gaps I see. And I say the word try because information alone is not transformative. It can only take you so far. But having a practical strategy you can implement around these three gaps is what is going to help you to break free from them for good. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, there's a link in my show notes to book a call with me. But let's get into it. The first gap or mistake that I see is that you're in too low of a deficit or you're being too restrictive with your food. This is where you're sticking to 1200 calorie diets, maybe you're cutting out carbs or complete food groups from your diet. And you're not cutting out these foods or food groups because you have an issue with them, as in you're allergic or intolerant to them. You're cutting them out because you believe it is what you need to do in order to lose weight. If you take just one thing away from this podcast, let it be this. All foods can fit into a healthy diet and be consumed whilst you lose fat. I know because I've helped over 500 women from motherhood to menopause do exactly that. Without a miserable plan, without a miserable diet, without burning out, and without putting their life on hold. The reason a super low deficit or restriction is bad for you is because it's unsustainable. You might be able to stick to it for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but inevitably it always brings you back to the same frustrating starting point. And the next time you start with a little less confidence, a little more frustration, and a little less belief in yourself and what is possible for you. But I just want you to know that it is absolutely possible for you. You just haven't found the right approach for you yet. So to fix this first gap and mistake, I want you to use a total daily energy expenditure calculator or a TDEE calculator to set your deficit to a realistic 10 or 20% deficit. Ensure you're getting enough protein and fiber with your main meals, including carbs for energy and satiety. The second gap and mistake that I see is that your weekends don't count. You stick to your routine, you might even track your calories or your steps during the week, but as soon as Friday rolls around, your commitment to these habits is like your tolerance levels in perimenopause, non-existent. I have made this mistake many times in my health and fitness journey. In fact, I've made all three of these mistakes that I'm sharing with you today, so believe me when I tell you I get it. Most of us don't track or keep on track at our weekends because we think that we've been good all week, so our weekends are the balance that we're craving, when really it's actually self-sabotage. You will be surprised how easy it is to undo the good progress that you have made in your week in just one weekend. Having a few bites of a grazing platter, having a few extra drinks, these can all completely override your daily calorie deficit needs over the course of the weekend. And that's without even adding the meals and the drinks that you've already had in your day onto that. So in order to fix this, don't just hit the fuck it button at the weekend in the name of I've been good all week, because what you think is balance is actually sabotage, as I mentioned earlier. You can absolutely enjoy your weekends and your social events without derailing your progress to your goals. Plan ahead with your social meals and don't overindulge just for the sake of it. I have this one saying that I use with my clients, but if the meal choice is not a hell yes, it's a no. You can add in some light exercise into your weekends as well, especially if you notice that you tend to default to just doing nothing from an activity perspective on your weekends. Maybe you might go for a coffee and a walk with a friend instead of just sitting down for a meal. Just do something that moves your body. And this brings me to the last big gap or mistake I see, and this one gets overlooked a lot. But you expect a tracker, a diet, or a meal plan to do what only healing your relationship with food can. You see, you can track your calories and your macros. You can stick to the diet or the meal plan. But you'll keep sabotaging your progress and starting back at zero if you don't deal with the fact that you still label foods as good as bad, and therefore you have an emotional reaction to eating either type of food. For example, you think that you've done really well if you've had a salad, and you think you've done really badly, or you guilt trip yourself if you have a donut. You turn to food to cope with stress and unprocessed emotions. So you default to food for comfort and eating food for comfort during difficult or stressful times, or just being thrown a curveball. And you see yourself as a certain type of eater, or you believe that the harder the diet is, the better the results. If you don't address these three key things and drop the diet mentality, you will forever be on or off a plan. You'll either be seeing results but hating your life, or you'll be enjoying your life but seeing no results. And the truth is, you can have both. You can have results and enjoy eating and enjoy a social life and not put your life on hold at the same time. To fix this, you need to build trust with yourself around your food choices. Have a solid understanding of nutrition that comes from science, not from diets or health fads, and understand why you use food to cope so you can start to shift out of those patterns. Food is not just fuel, it is to be enjoyed. If you fix these three mistakes or three gaps, not only will your fat loss and fitness journey be so much more enjoyable for you, but you will be on your way to a lasting transformation where you will never need to start again. If today's episode spoke to you, don't forget that you can book a call with me. I'll leave the link in my show notes, and feel free to share with a friend. It's the only way this podcast grows. I really appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot from today, and until next time, take care.